Hi there, everyone. Okay, this is my weekly report. So, first of all, I'm just getting over bronchitis. So, um, apologies if I'm coughing. I'm not sure I can get through this without coughing. So, I'm going to apologize right up front. You've been watching me for a while, and you'll know that I have respiratory sort of issues. So, anyway, here we go. Because it's a really busy week on the astral front this week. First off, Mars in Gemini is going to square, and the square is like a challenging aspect, and it's going to square with Neptune in Pisces. So what does this mean? Well, Mars in Gemini can be quick-minded. So, we love that because it's very sharp, it's very quick, but it's also very impulsive, to say the least. So, and although this is a square, the Neptune in Pisces does help to sort of soften that impulsiveness a little bit. And so, it comes more from your inner wisdom. And there's a lot of this, like quite often, particularly when I'm doing a chart, a birth chart, there's like layers and layers and layers that quite often will say the same thing. And so there's a lot of this happening, this week. So let's go through it. So the best way the way to make the best out of this astral aspect is just to give yourself some thinking time. Don't be so intent on reacting and blurting the first thing out that comes onto your mind. And that's a very sort of Aries, because Aries is quick thinking and, they've got it there and they want to sort of think it out. So, they want to sort of push it out. So you want to sort of just be mindful of that, just take some time to sort of sort through, what it is that you really is going on. What do you really want to say? And more importantly, what do you want to achieve? Like, what do you want the message to be? And how do you want other people to feel about that message? Okay. And once that you have more clarity to all these questions, then you can step forward by offering some words of wisdom, okay, rather than a repulsive reaction. Now, at the same time, the Sun in Pisces is going to conjunct. Now, a conjunction is an astral connection where two planets of the same degree, usually in the same sign, but not always. And it's going to conjunct with Neptune. So this is going to provide an additional power, because let's face it, the Sun is, one of our most powerful sources. So it's going to put like a layer of power on the top of what's going on. Another reason to ensure that you get your point across in the story that's going on in your mind, you get it across in the way that you want it to be heard. This is like one of the biggest messages for this week. Now, the Sun will also square Mars. Okay, so once again, another astral message indicating that this is a better time to think first rather than saying or reacting. Okay, this is also empathized as communication planet Mercury will conjunct Neptune. And once again, this highlights that uttering words of wisdom, because Neptune in Pisces is like very spiritual. It's very sort of inner knowledge rather than what's happening outside. So this will sort of help us just calmly respond rather than being reactive. Okay, so there's two ways that you can respond. You can simply respond, or you can react. And so, a response and a thoughtful, mindful response that's come from your inner wisdom, words of wisdom, then that's going to achieve you the best results. All right. Now, midweek, Venus is going to move, and it's going to make her move from passionate Aries to the more romantic Taurus. Now, Taurus is one of the signs that Venus rules, so she's, quite comfortable here. And so romance is very much in the stars. And, not just for Taurus, but all signs. And Venus in Taurus, it's like love, romance, relationships can show up in our lives in one way or another. Now, Taurus likes to settle down and likes, it's the energy, it likes to build solid relationships that last the distance, okay? Now, and let's not forget that also in this area, it's all about your self-worth as well. So it's very much about how much love or the type of relationships that you feel you deserve on that inner level is what you're going to attract. The other side of Venus, because there's always two sides of the coin, right, is that she can be in this area a little bit possessive, okay? So you want to sort of be careful of that. Now, as this falls into everybody's, as it falls into this sign, it's going to affect everybody at a different area of your life, depending what your sun sign is. And then, of course, when we dive deeper and look into your birth chart, then, that's going to tell a different story again. So, of course, the knowledge I'm giving you here is just straight where the planets are falling and where they're interacting in the solar chart, okay? All right, so moving on. So Venus is going to square Pluto. That's going to show you how important it is to operate with integrity and how important it is for you to be your authentic and most transparent self, okay? So at first this can seem a little challenging, okay, because we have so many personas. And what is a persona? It's a mask that we put on for all different areas and people in our lives. So, getting in touch with ourselves and being more authentic is sometimes a challenge. And this is one of the things that I just purely love about astrology. And this is the chart work that I love doing because, when you look at your birth chart, and you have someone like me, a professional astrologer, analyze it, then it really sort of just gives you permission to be you, that this is your zodiac like DNA. And so, it all makes sense. Often when I'm going through a chart, somebody they'll say, oh yeah, I get that now. I see where that comes from. And you know what? That's how I am. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's beautiful. So, the quest of astrology in my mind is really to help us to know who we are and to be our authentic self. And the Venus square in Pluto sort of challenges to do that, okay? And once we can do that, it really provides us all with a great deal of peace through knowing that we are, we do accept and love ourselves for who we are. And more important than that, when we're acting from a point of integrity, then, just knowing that we've done the right thing gives us just helps us sort of sit more calmly and peacefully, to feel comfortable in our own skin. I love that term. I only first heard that term in America. Never heard that in Australia. So it's a beautiful term. I love it. Okay, so with the Venus square Pluto, this can result in you staying within integrity within yourself. And once you do that, then it's easier to do that with others. Okay, so that's a really, really, important, even though it's a square, which is traditionally challenging, it's going to challenge us to do that. And I think that's sort of, beautiful. All right, so the week is going to close over the weekend, of course, with Mercury, and Mercury is going to make his move from the intuitive and the imaginative side of Pisces to the more passionate and action-oriented side of Aries. And it's going to provide us with a gift of clarity and quick thinking. Anything to do with Aries is like really sort of quick, okay? And, with Mercury in this sign, it's like flashes of inspiration can come through. So you want to be ready just to highlight them, write them down, take note of them, because sometimes those, flashes of inspiration that come through are, quite genius. And then Mercury's interaction with planet Pluto continues to highlight the necessity, of course, of operating with integrity, particularly as early in the week as we went through Venus's interaction with Saturn also highlights that whatever you put into place now has the opportunity and possibility of building a long-term relationships, okay? And regardless of whether it's to do with your professional or your personal life, as I said, each area of the chart, the 12 areas of the wheel of the horoscope, represent a different area of life. And for each sign, it represents a different area of life. So, so it doesn't really matter. You still get the vibration of the energy, but it can mean differently to each sign. And then, of course, each person when we look at your birth chart. So to wrap it up, this is a week of thoughtfulness followed by interaction and action derived from your inner wisdom. Okay, so I hope you all have a great week, and apologies again for my scratchy little voice. Going back to my going back to rest now. Not quite over this, but getting towards the end of it. Thanks so much for your love and support. And if you have just started watching me, please subscribe and share my videos. I'd love that. Thanks so much. Bye for now.